So do you like music? 'Cause if you do, you'll either love or hate this video. Let's do this. Hi everybody, Bionic Dance here. So I want to talk to you about a mistake I made about a year and a half ago. Totally my fault, I got no one else to blame, but I had misunderstood the video manager, clicked the wrong thing. This was the old video manager back in, like I said, a year and a half ago. And I ended up accidentally deleting a page, maybe 2 pages of my videos. Dumb, right? What you gonna do? Point is, though, that, I lost a couple of videos, about 2 or 3 videos that I had made that were about some music that I had done back in, like, the mid to late 90s. And I was using this 4-track digital sample system known as mods. Maybe some of you remember mods, maybe you don't. Point is that I'd had fun making some music and I shared it with YouTube, and now those videos are lost and I want to reshare it. So people used to use this mod system mostly to make techno. I attempted to make something more like rock or pop, and it's up to you to tell whether or not I succeeded. So the first track I would like to share with you is called The Kick. Not the best name, I know, but hell, it was the mid to late 90s. Like I say, I was pretty young back then. I like to think of this as sort of a crossing of Roxette's The Look with Jay Giles' band's Centerfold and a healthy dose of Pop Goes the World by Men Without Hats. Anyway, here it is. Let me know what you think. Okay, so now you've got a pretty good idea of what we're dealing with here. Incidentally, if any of you happen to be musicians and you want to do like a non-sampled version of one of these, that'd be pretty awesome. No pressure though. Anyway, this next song is called SPL, and those letters stood for Sunset Porsche Love, which is kind of stupid, I know, but the song, I was kind of going for like power ballad, so yeah, it kind of makes sense when you think about it. Anyway, here's the song. Dig it or don't. Kinda cheesy, right? But come on, I could totally see that at like the end of some John Hughes 80s movie or something. Couldn't you? Anyway, the next one is just called Thingy. I don't know why I call it Thingy, but it's a very difficult song to classify. It's not rock, it's not pop, it's not anything that I can really define as a category. Anyway, give it a listen. Maybe you'll dig it, maybe you won't. Incidentally, is anyone noticing a pattern emerging? I mean, these songs are very similar stylistically. There's like a bass track, a drum track, and, maybe one or two melody tracks, and that's like it. So, let's shake it up just a little bit. This next one is called Cyber. And I named it that because it was sort of supposed to be like some sort of dystopian, futuristic, think Blade Runner kind of thing, or Shadowrun or something. It was supposed to be the music you'd encounter in something like that. So, here we go. This one is Cyber. That was okay. It was maybe not my best effort, but, So I have a style. Big deal. I mean, everyone's got a style. As long as you don't sound exactly the same in every song, I guess it's okay. So let's go back to some of the stuff that sounded more like the first few songs. This one is called Spunky Whitmire. Couldn't tell you why, but I kind of have this weird thing about German-sounding names. I find them amusing. I mean, those of you who've read my short-lived webcomic might remember Professor von Lingermeyer, and I am so amused by that Monty Python sketch about the composer with the really long name. What is it, like Johann Gambelputty de von Ausfern Splendin Slitter? It goes on for fucking ever, right? Very funny stuff. So that's probably where the name Spunky Whitmire came from. Anyway, let's give that a listen. song is called Chris Down. Now, the reason it's called that, I used to be on a dial-up internet service, remember dial-up, called Concentric, but Concentric was shortened down to Chris for short. And, well, it was down, and I was cranky about it, and decided instead to make some music. That's where this title came from. That's it. Give it a listen. You know, listening to it, I sure seem to have a thing for that section at the end where there's no rhythm for a while. I don't know why, I just seem to dig on that. Anyway, this next song is called Blackfish, and it's kind of a departure for me in that it's almost depressing in a way. It's a very downbeat, minor key kind of song. In fact, it's very similar to Cyber from before. Give it a listen. In addition to my own music, I also did 2 covers. That's right, covers. For example, here is Pachelbel's Canon in D, If It Were a Rock Song. actually had a lot of fun making that, let me tell you. Anyway, next up is a video game music cover. That's right. How many of you remember the game Lemmings? It was a fun puzzle game. Maybe some of you remember it, some of you don't. But the level 1 music was catchy as hell. So, here it is in mod form. Funny part about that is I actually had lyrics to that song. I mean, I'd played the game so much and the music had gone through my head so many times that, well, after a while, words occurred to me. I mean, the whole point of the game was you click on these little lemming-like creatures and make them either dig or build stairs or block each other from not going any further, that kind of thing, just to make sure that you could get them to safety so they didn't fall and die, basically. So, in my head, the lyrics were something like, lemmings will splat when they fall and they hit the ground. Lemmings will splat when they fall. Lemmings will splat when they fall and they hit the ground. I mean, it was frustrating as hell. I don't know. It's a total earworm is what it is. Anyway, speaking of video games, how many of you remember the game XCOM UFO Defense? It was a very fun sort of game. It was like a cross of resource management and turn-based strategy and stuff, where you're basically shooting down UFOs that are invading Earth, taking their technology and using it to make your own more high-tech weapons and stuff like that. Very fun game. Now, one of the sequences in it was where you're flying in a jet trying to shoot down the UFO, and then later your soldiers go and try and kill the remaining aliens or capture them if you can, because it's good to be able to dissect them and find their weaknesses and stuff. And that's the turn-based strategy part of it. Now, each of these sequences had music, and I made not actually covers, not like the last two songs. These were more inspired by XCOM. The first one you're going to hear, it's called UFO Aerial, and it's basically, in my head, what it would be like doing sort of a Top Gun versus UFO sort of sequence where you've got this jet trying to shoot down a UFO. Give it a listen. It's kinda like the musical equivalent of a fan film, I guess, if there is such a thing. Anyway, next up is called UFO Creepy. It's also the last one, I assure you. It's more like the turn-based strategy portion of XCOM, where the soldiers get out of their carrier jet and they go and try to shoot down the remaining aliens that survived the UFO crashing, or in some cases where the aliens have landed on their own and they're invading a house or a cornfield somewhere. That sequence of the game was often quite creepy, and it had very, like creepy, this could jump out at you at any moment, sort of almost horror film style music, and I decided to make something very similar to it. This one's kind of slow, which is why I saved it for the end, but you'll get the idea, and any one of you who actually played the game will go, yes, this is familiar. It's not a cover, like I say, it's more of a tribute, but here you go. And that's it. That's the entire collection of Bionic Dance-made music. I realize this video is almost a half hour long, but, well, hey, it was fun. Of all of these, I think the one I'm most proud of is probably SPL. Maybe The Kick, I'm not sure. They're all pretty good, but those were actually among the first two I made, and I think they're the most me, and I don't know, I just really enjoy them. I mean, I actually have all of these on my iPod, but I listen to those two. They're in a couple of playlists I've made. Anyway, yeah, again, like I said at the beginning, if any of you are musicians and would like to make cover versions of these with like real instruments, that would be so cool. No pressure, no obligation. I'm just saying, if anyone wants to do that, I know there's got to be a musician or two out there. Maybe some of you want a challenge. I don't know. But anyway, I'm happy to share this with you. Let me know your thoughts. Although please, rational criticism welcome. Abuse, not so much. This is Bionic Dance saying catch you later. Please take the time to rate this video. And hey, if you dig what I do, subscribe. And please visit my Zazzle store, where you'll find all kinds of Bionic Dance merchandise. Hey, this is a nice computer you got over here. Be a shame if you didn't rate and something bad happened to it.